From the CSI softball complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II softball coverage live on the ECC network. Today's conference matchup features the Knights of Queens College taking on the College of Staten Island Dolphins. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, and I'm joined on the call for Game 1 by my broadcast partner, Andrew Rotundo. We are going to get off to a bit of a late start in this game. We were scheduled for a 2 o'clock start. It looks like we'll be starting closer to 2:10 p.m., but starting lineups have just been introduced here at the College of Staten Island, which means it's now time for the playing of the national anthem. Andrew and I will rejoin you on the other side of the anthem following a short break.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food & Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the CSI softball complex. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Andrew Rotundo with the call of today's game between the Dolphins and the Knights. And Andrew, this game is huge for the Dolphins. They will likely need to win at least one of the 2 games today to keep their playoff hopes alive. If they only win one, it is still going to be a very tough road. They may need to win both games, and it starts right here with the first batter of the game as Alexandra Frenzel will be in the circle for CSI. First pitch to Diana Budakowski, misses for ball 1, and we are underway.
Yeah, as you said, Joe, big game for the Dolphins, and if they want their playoff hopes alive, this is a chance to do it here against this team.
And very quickly, we have our first out of the game as Budakowski taps one over to third. Go to first in time. 1 away in the top half of the first.
Good start for Frenza. Took just a few pitches here to get the first out. Bunt is unsuccessful for Queens, and the Dolphins able to get the first out with no problem.
Now, we didn't have a pregame show today because we weren't exactly sure what time we would get started, but we had a few things that we wanted to talk about during the pregame. We'll touch on some of those here in this first inning. That pitch sails up high. Sierra Alvarado is the batter for the Knights. Count even at 1. And Alvarado looks at ball 2. Get you the lineup for Queens following this next pitch. And that misses for ball 3. As you already saw, Budakowski led off, followed by Alvarado. Next up will be Ann Grimshaw, followed by Jenny Murphy, Amanda Baez. As that runs the count full. At a called strike. It's an early full count. That's hit in the air. Foul territory, out of play.
Good battle here between Alvarado and Frenza. Good job by Frenza to stay with it. Got that pitch to lock up Alvarado on the fastball, and full count remains here.
Brianna Call will bat 6th for the Knights. Christina Varuso 7th. Comes the payoff pitch. And that's ball 4.
Very close, Joe. Very close on the outside
Now batting, the second
for
baseman,
ball 4, and
number 7,
Queens
Grimshaw.
has their first runner of the game.
Very close indeed. Batting 8th for Queens, Caroline Pescatori. And batting 9th, Emma Zumpal. This is Ann Grimshaw. She looks at ball 1. One of the points we were going to touch on during the pregame. Grimshaw's big game against the Dolphins last time these two teams faced off. 3 for 4, 3 RBIs. And she's quickly ahead here, 2-0. And that's in the dirt for ball 3.
Grimshaw's only worked 2 walks this season so far. Does lead the team in hits and runs batted in, though.
And that catches the inside corner. Well, at times, Frenza has struggled with walks. She's issued 60 of them on the season in 80 2/3. There's a swing and a miss, and she's right back in the at-bat as we have another full count.
Well, once again, Frenza, great job to stay with it and stay composed here. Count was 3-0, and now she works it back to a full count once again.
Another payoff pitch. That's popped up on the infield. Runner was going. And forced to retreat back to first was Alvarado. They are now 2 away.
Now batting, the first baseman,
Great effort by Liz Moore to come over from third, right underneath it. Wind was blowing in that moment. Liz Moore nonetheless able to stay underneath it for the second out. Just one runner on here for Queens and Murphy.
Pitch on its way to Murphy, and that misses for ball 1. Friends has been working from behind in the count quite a bit early in this game. Comes the 1-0. Runner going. That's popped up, foul territory. And Mayer's got it. Nearly lost it at the last moment, but was able to track it down, and the side is retired. No runs home for Queens in the top half of the first. They strand 1 on base. Dolphins come to bat after this break.
NCAA Division II Community Engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
And we are back from the CSI softball complex. No score between the Dolphins and the Knights. First turn at bat for CSI. And Mariah Carcano will lead off for the Dolphins. She remains CSI's leading hitter at .328. Leads the team in hits and in plate appearances. She takes up high for ball one.
And we've said it before, Joe. We know that if Carcano can get on, Dolphins have a chance to score.
Comes the 1-0. That swung on and missed. And Carcano takes away for ball two, as the area around home plate is engulfed in dirt. I am all masked up today. The dirt and pollen not agreeing with me. Have to admit I'm looking a bit strange behind the plate, as that's down in the dirt for ball three.
You should at least be shielded a bit from the dirt blowing around. I have glasses on as well, but somehow they're getting underneath a bit.
It's a rough day out here today. Here comes the 3-1. And that's in for a called strike. Carcano's on base percentage up around .350 on the season. Has attempted 8 stolen bases. The Dolphins would love to get her on to open the game, and she fouls the payoff pitch back.
We're protecting there. Carcano with a good battle here to lead off for the Dolphins. It'd be big if she can get on, as we've said, with Acosta on deck.
Here comes another 3-2 pitch. And that's swung on and missed for strike three.
That's a tough break for the Dolphins. And a big strikeout for Dilday, as Carcano was battling hard there in the opening at-bat for the Dolphins, and it's Dilday to come out on top for the first out with a strikeout.
Anissa Acosta will be next for the Dolphins. After this next pitch, we'll get you the numbers on Dilday as she finds the zone for strike one. Dilday on the season leads the Knights in just about every category. ERA among qualifiers, wins, appearances, starts, complete games, innings pitched, and her lone shutout of the season came against the Dolphins. Hard to believe she's only had one shutout with a 2.16 ERA.
Very hard to believe.
Opposing batters hitting just .230 against her. And the 0-2 misses high.
Very impressive numbers, especially that ERA this late in the season.
Team ERA for Queens at 3.63. The issue is that opposing teams have pitched to a 1.83 ERA against them. Count on Acosta now even at 2. Comes the 2-2. That's up and away for ball three.
Once again, another full count. Carcano was able to battle it to a full count in her first at bat. And in Acosta's 100th bat of the season, she's got a good battle as well.
4th full count of the game, 2 for each team. And Acosta taps one over to third. That's handled cleanly, and Acosta is retired for the second out.
2 up, 2 down for the Dolphins, but nonetheless, great battles from Acosta and Carcano. Just couldn't find it. And that time, Acosta couldn't find a hole. Right to third, and the throw right to first for the second out.
2 away for Eileen Balderas. Balderas had a nice week last week. Hit up above 350. Had a home run, 3 RBIs. She takes a big cut at that pitch and misses for strike one. Balderas hit a 3-run homer to give the Dolphins an early 3-run lead. I believe it was about a week ago now, if I'm not mistaken. I think it may have been 1 week ago today when we were last on the air against Malloy. At least last on the air for softball.
I think you're right.
I think it was last Tuesday.
Had to think of what day of the week it was today.
Comes the 0-2. That skips in for ball 1.
Balderas went right after her first 2 pitches. Takes that one, and she's turning it into a good battle here as well.
1 ball and 2 strikes, the count. Dolphins looking for their first base runner. Dilday's pitch on its way. That's high. The Knights have struggled to score this season, as evidenced by the opposing team's ERA against them. There's a big strikeout for Dilday, but the Dolphins in these last few games haven't scored more than 3 runs in the last 4, and they're turned aside here in the bottom half of the first inning. No score through 1 from the CSI softball complex. We'll be right back with the second inning.
Stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And we are back from the CSI softball complex. No score as we start the second inning. And Amanda Baez is at the plate for Queens. She has an even count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Baez comes in hitting .264 on the season. And she gets ahead 2-1. Comes the 2-1. That's ball 3. Another 3-ball count for Frenza, third of the game.
And once again, she gets behind. Let's see how she can battle back, as she has done. Can't do it here as she walks off the leadoff batter in Baez.
The designated player, number 45, Brianna Call.
Brianna Call will be the batter. Call comes in. 1 of 17. She looks to bunt, and that's probably as close as we'll get to getting a foul ball this year.
That was right on the pavement, right behind us.
Very tough for a ball to get fouled off where we're seated. We're a bit close to the backstop for that, a few feet back, and we're in prime position. But given my history, I don't want anywhere near those foul balls. That's bunted back to the circle. Frenza has to go to first, and the throw is in time to retire Call. Successful sacrifice will move Baez up to second. There's 1 away in the inning, and the Knights have a runner in scoring position for Christina Varuso.
Let's see if Frenza can take advantage of Varuso's numbers. She struggled a bit, batting just 148 on the season.
Varuso 4 of 27 on the year. And like many of the other Knights, she gets ahead in the count, 1-0. That misses low. comes the 2-0. Veruso shows bunt. The runner is going, and the throw is not in time.
That ball just could not be handled down at third. That allows the runner to advance to third. And Queens has a chance with just one out in the inning here.
Comes the 2-1. That's fouled away. With the runner moving up to third, this next strike becomes much bigger. A ball in play could give Queens the lead. Dolphins infield about halfway, and the count is now full.
Very patient is Veruso. Working this to a full count. Only 27 at-bats on the year, but has worked 3 walks.
That's fouled away again. Count remains full. 3 balls and 2 strikes, yet another full count. Once again, this is a big pitch upcoming for Frenza. Here comes another 3-2. And that's off the outside corner for ball 4.
Frenza walks another here, and Veruso gets her 4th walk on the year. And she uses her patience and gets the runners at the corners now for Queens. Dolphins, at least for now, able to avoid the run being scored.
Well, this sets up a double play, but I'm not sure Pescatore is a double play candidate. The leading hitter for the Knights, among their leaders in stolen bases. She shows bunt, and they catch the runner far off third. Throw back and in time.
Beautifully done.
Baez is tagged out, as it looks like the Knights were going for the suicide squeeze. The bunt unsuccessful. The runner on first moves up to second, but the runner at third trying to get back is out.
And that's a huge second out for the Dolphins. Runner standing at third with only 1 out, and now Dolphins able to eliminate that with a good heads-up play, throw down to third in time. 2 outs in the inning now for the Dolphins.
There's another look at that last play, and once that bunt came up empty, the Knights were in trouble. Count runs to 2-1 on Pescatore. I'm a bit surprised they tried that, Andrew.
With just 1 out.
That's hit to the right side. And the throw goes to first in time to retire Pescatore for the final out of the inning. Knights strand 1 on base. Big out over at third for the Dolphins on the suicide squeeze attempt. And we head to the home second with no score.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor.
It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
We are back from the CSI softball complex. No score in the bottom half of the second, thanks in large part to the Dolphins snuffing out an attempted suicide squeeze by the Knights.
Yeah, the Knights had a huge chance to go ahead in this game.
Elizabeth Moore leads things off for the Dolphins. She's quickly ahead, 2-0. There's a swing and a miss for strike 1. Moore got off to a fine start, but she's down to 202 on the season. She's second on the Dolphins in at-bats. She's gotten a lot of playing time, been in there just about every game, has started 38 times. No Dolphin has started all 40 games, and 2 Dolphins have started 39 games, those being Balderas and Acosta.
Also, only 2 Dolphins have more runs batted in than Liz Moore on the season.
And that's in for a called strike 3. Moore a strikeout victim to open up the home second, and Alyssa Acosta will be the batter.
Another strikeout there for Dilday, and she's been working it there in the circle for the night so far.
On the season, Dilday comes in with 80 strikeouts and just over 100 innings. Working on improving that number so far in this game.
And Veruso just had to make really high grab there on that first pitch to Acosta.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 1. Acosta right behind Carcano among the Dolphins' leaders in hitting. 323 on the season. And that pitch is in for a called strike 2.
And Dilday really throwing some heat here.
Acosta's been a tough out. She leads the Dolphins in on-base percentage. And they get her to go up the ladder for a swinging strike 3.
Well, there's another one. 2 up, 2 down for the Dolphins on strikeouts. That brings up Funston. And let's see if she can solve Dilday here, who's been red hot since the end of that first inning.
2 outs here in the bottom half of the second. And last time Amelia Funston faced this night's team, she had a 3-for-4 game. That sliced foul. Late in that game, she came up in a huge spot with the bases loaded. Could not come through. That was the only time the Knights got her out. Funston comes in a .266 hitter. That's hit in the air. Foul territory. And that ball gets lodged in the top of the fence.
Joe, have you ever seen that before at this field?
I have not. I've seen a ball go under the fence. We've seen a few go over the fence this year. I have not seen one stuck in the fence.
That was incredible.
Not as incredible as me getting hit in the ribs, just saying.
Oh, yeah. That I can agree with.
0-2 the count on Funston. And that's ball 1. One ball and 2 strikes to count on Funston. And that's hit well out to center field. That ball carrying toward the wall, and it's off the base of the fence. Funston heads for second as that ball is dug out in center field. Unable to handle it cleanly was Budakowski, but Funston will stop with a 2-out double.
And that was ripped off the bat by Funston. And what a job to wake up the bats here for Funston as Dolphins came up 2 down on strikeouts, and all of a sudden Funston comes up and rips one to the center field wall for the Dolphins' first hit of the game.
Well, knowing how important this game is to this Dolphins team and how big that run is over at second base, Tracy Garofalo will pinch run early as Sophia Dodonna comes out of the Dolphins' dugout and will pinch run for Funston over at second. And with an opportunity to give CSI the lead is Natalia Noth. Noth comes in hitting at .254. First pitch from Dilday on its way, and that's swung on and missed for strike 1. Comes the 0-1. There's another swing and a miss for strike 2.
She's going right after it.
Those 2 swings did not look good. Comes the 0-2. There's another swing and a miss for strike 3. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and Dilday has the third out. We head to the third with no score.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
We are back for the third inning from the College of Staten Island. Still no score between the Dolphins and the Knights. These two teams, no strangers to low-scoring games against one another. As that pitch misses for ball 1. Emma Zumpal will lead things off.
Well, both teams had their chances back in the second inning. Queens at one point had a runner at third with only 1 out.
That's hit well out to center field. And that will fall at the base of the fence for an extra base hit. Zumpal stops at second as Balderas quickly turns and receives that throw from center. Nice job by Carcano to make sure that she limited Zumpal to a double, but the Knights have the leadoff runner in scoring position.
Well, speaking of opportunities, Joe, that one was ripped to open the inning for the Knights, and they get their first hit of the game here in the top of the third, and it's a big one, a leadoff double.
2 hits in the game. Both have gone for extra bases. And Queens now has a chance to take the lead once again. They had a chance to do so last inning and could not, as that's bunted right back to Frenza. And once again, it's a successful sacrifice for Queens.
Well, Joe, to open the inning, I was mentioning how Queens had this similar situation back in the second inning. A runner over at third and just 1 out, and here we go again. And let's see if they can cash in this time to open the scoring.
Good bunt there by Budakowski, and now Alvarado will have a chance. Dolphins bring the infield in on the left side as that pitch is fouled back.
Dolphins with a good effort back in the second inning to avoid the scoring being opened, as they were able to catch Queens on that suicide squeeze.
Alvarado showing bunt, and she takes strike 2. The Knights certainly looking to employ some small ball. Comes the 0-2. That's way upstairs. Comes the 1-2. That's fouled away again. Well, the Knights know that 1 run could be enough, as these two teams have played some very low-scoring games. Going back to the start of last season, the Dolphins have not scored more than twice against Queens. CSI 1-5 in those games, as that misses for ball 2.
Well, Queens College pitching just seems to bring it every game for them.
Once again, that's fouled away. I said it before, the Dolphins have scored 3 or less in 4 straight games. That has not been for lack of chances. The Dolphins have gotten base runners. Here comes a 2-2 pitch. And that's it out to shallow right, just beyond the infield. That's down for a hit. The go-ahead run will come in to score. And the Knights take a 1-0 lead.
Well, unfortunately, Anissa Acosta over at second lost sight of that, I think, as that just landed behind her, floated over her head just a bit, and that allows Queens to open up the scoring here in the top of the third.
You'll see it again here. I couldn't believe that ball got down. And you're right, Andrew. I think she had to have lost it. I can't imagine any other way that gets down.
Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't expect that to drop, and then all of a sudden I saw the ball right behind her in shallow right center.
And that ball was hit so shallow that if one of the outfielders had played it on a hop, there was going to be a play at the plate. That misses for ball 2. And now a very dangerous hitter, and Ann Grimshaw is ahead 2-0. That will go down as the second Knights hit. Alvarado was credited with an RBI single on what looked like it was going to be a pop-up. Grimshaw is now ahead 3-0. Jenny Murphy in the on-deck circle. And Grimshaw takes a strike. Three and 1 the count on the Knights' second baseman. And Frenza's pitch misses low for ball 4.
Just unfortunate is Grimshaw, like you said, very dangerous batter for the Knights, able to work the walk, and they keep the offense going here as they have runners at first and second. Still just one away in the inning.
That's now 4 walks for the CSI starter, Frenza. And Murphy comes to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. First pitch on its way from Frenza. That skips in for ball 1. Frenza has issued 4 walks, and the command issues continue. The Dolphins are presented with a very tough decision. Do you bring in one of your top pitchers to try and give yourself a chance to win this game, or do you save that pitching and go all out to win game 2? Is 1 win enough?
Well, at this point of the season, I think you definitely want to try and get 2.
I think you have to. I agree with you. It's all a numbers game down the stretch in the season. The Dolphins have 2 games left with Mercy. They are 2 games back of the Mavericks in the win column. But Mercy has 2 additional conference games remaining over CSI. So Dolphins are in a really tough spot if they don't win both today. If they do win both, they are right back in it because they can make up those 2 games against the Mavericks when they play them. Runners got a nice jump off second on the delivery of that pitch, which is in for a called strike 2, and the count on Murphy is now full. Another big pitch coming for Frenza. That's popped up behind home plate, and Mayer has it. 2 gone.
That's a big catch behind the plate in foul territory by the catcher, Rhiann Mayer, for the second out as Queens College is really getting the bats going. That one popped up in foul territory, and Mayer, no problem, right underneath it for the second out.
That's a big second out. Great job by Frenza to come back from a 3-ball count. A walk would have loaded the bases, and now with 2 away, Amanda Baez looks at strike 1. That pitch just missed. Count 1-1. There's a good off-speed pitch. And Frenza's now 1 strike away from getting out of trouble.
Yeah, if she can limit the Knights to just that 1 run, that would be big for the Dolphins going into their side of the third.
Here comes the 1-2. And that is in for a called strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Alexandra Frenza brings the top half of the third inning to a close. The Knights strand 2 on base, but they score the game's first run. Queens over Staten Island, 1-0, heading to the home third.
for me just kind of was the glue that kept my family together, I feel like. I don't know what it was that drew me in, but after I started playing for a while and started seeing some early success as a little kid, to see how much it meant to my parents to see me play the game and try to make a difference was really what fueled me to keep playing and stay competitive. Being a triple major is not necessarily easy, but at the same time it is what you make it. Being a tighter-knit university, I have a lot of classes with the same professors, so they know me pretty well. I think it's that personal relationship that really helped me to thrive as a student. I was able to come here and get my triple major, as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
And we are back from the CSI Softball Complex. Avery Mockery will lead things off for the Dolphins. Her team now trailing by a run. Bit of an unfortunate break for Alexandra Frenza and the Dolphins as a pop fly single brought home the game's first run for Queens. But Frenza did a great job to bounce back, picked up a pair of big strikeouts, and stranded 2 on base to bring us to the home third. Comes the 0-1. And Mockery pops one up on the infield. Catch is made at first by Murphy, and there's quickly one out.
Well, Murphy right underneath that one. Barely had to move for the first out of the inning for the Dolphins. That brings up the catcher, Rianne Mayer, who made a big second out catch in the top of the third in foul territory for the Dolphins.
Mayer comes in, hitting at .242 on the season. She fouls back the first pitch she sees here for strike 1. Comes the 0-1. That misses up high. Behind Mayer, it's back to the top of the order. Mariah Carcano on deck. And the 1-1 is popped up right in front of the plate. That ball is down, but it will roll foul. Smart play behind the plate by Varuso. Andrew can't believe the spin on that ball. He's dumbfounded.
I mean, that landed so far from the line, and it just spun all the way to the line. I don't know what to say.
Smart play behind the plate by Varuso.
Yeah, at the very least.
It saved her team a base runner, and her pitcher a base hit allowed. And that's grounded just foul. Count remains 1-2. This is one of the rare occasions where I can see inside the Dolphins' bullpen, and there is some light tossing going on. Very light. I believe that's Miramontes in a hoodie, but Lewis confirms.
Thank you, Lewis.
Miramontes pitched well against the Knights last time she faced them. And Mayer just gets a piece of that one.
Still 1-2. Mayer with 4 straight foul balls now.
One ball and 2 strikes, the count on the Dolphins catcher. Dilday's pitch on its way. And that's swung on and missed for strike 3.
Well, Dilday continues to throw heaters from the circle. And she gets another strikeout. And the Dolphins go 2 up, 2 down yet again. And that'll bring the top of the order, Carcano, back to the plate for her second at-bat of the game.
Carcano 0 for 1. Struck out her first time up. Dilday already has 6 punch-outs. And there's a swing and a miss by Carcano. Comes the 0-1. Carcano shows bunt and takes strike 2. That sliced foul.
Dilday working quickly here, just one strike away from a 1-2-3 inning.
Comes another 0-2. That's chopped softly to third. And that's a nice play to handle that ball quickly by Zumpol. She throws out Carcano, and the side is retired. Dolphins are turned aside in the third. They still trail 1-0.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
First pitch in the fourth inning is hit softly to second, handled by Acosta, who flips the first for out number one.
Well, nicely done from Acosta. One pitch, one out for the Dolphins. Acosta able to dig down in the dirt there to grab that and make the toss to first.
Brianna Call retired on one pitch, and Christina Varuso will be the batter. And she looks at ball one off the outside corner.
Long at bat for Varuso in her last at bat. She was able to work that walk.
Made a nice play without touching the ball in the previous inning. Let that attempted bunt roll foul. Spared the Knights a base runner. Looks to get on here with one out in the fourth, as she swings and misses for strike two. One ball and two strikes, the count on the Queens catcher. Pitch from Frenza is hit well, but well foul. Well, that was fair, that was trouble.
Spectators have gotten louder here to start the fourth inning.
Just a bit. The sun came out, that's why. It's much warmer now.
Yeah.
When the sun has not been obstructed by the clouds today, it's been very nice outside. When the clouds have rolled in and obstructed the sun, it's been very cold. So that's what you get here at CSI. Thanks in large part to the wind, as the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Frenza tries to go off speed there, just misses.
That misses low for ball 3. And Andrew, yet another full count in this game. And that's walk number 5 issued by Frenza.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen so many full counts through 3 and about a third here. That'll bring Pescatori to the plate for Queens with 1 on and 1 out, as Varuso able to work another walk, second of the game.
First pitch from Frenza is fouled back. Catcher, batter, broadcast team covered in dirt right there. And that has to be distracting if you're a hitter. As soon as that pitch was delivered, wind kicked up some of the infield dirt. That's popped up. Shallow left, and the catch is made on the infield by Balderas.
Big second out for the Dolphins there. As Queens are getting going with it, Veruso got them going with another walk. Balderas able to get over from short and get there for the second out.
Emma Zumpole is the batter. And she looks at ball one. Zumpole doubled her last time up. Came around to score the game's first run. Here comes the 1-0. That catches the outside corner. Here comes the 1-1. Yeah, Andrew, I don't know what's going on up there.
Interesting calls from the spectators behind us.
What I'll say is they're having a very good time. We were having a good time last night on MLB The Show. The entire crew was there, minus Andrew, as that's hit well out to center. But Zumpole got just under it, and Carcano makes the catch for the third out. The crowd loves it. The top half of the fourth is over, and we head to the home half of inning number 4 with the Dolphins trailing 1-0.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Nisa Acosta will lead off for the Dolphins here in the 4th inning. CSI still trailing 1-0. One hit for CSI through the first 3. First pitch from Dilday is fouled back. And TJ's behind 0-1. Lone Dolphins hit belongs to Amelia Funston. As Acosta looks at ball 1. Funston due up 4th in this inning. 2, 3, and 4 due up for CSI. Comes the 1-1. And that's it well out to right center, but Acosta got under it, and it's off the glove of a diving Budakowski. That ball gets away. It rolls into the right field corner. Acosta is being waved home, and she scores.
Unbelievable, Joe.
Inside the park home run, and the Dolphins have tied the score at 1.
Inside the park home run, and that ball just underneath Acosta got. And right off the glove of Budakowski, that rolls all the way, basically to the right field line. And that allows Acosta to put the Jets on and coast all the way home and tie this ball game up 1 apiece.
Well, I'm not sure if we caught the point in that replay where the ball contacted Budakowski's glove. But that knocked the ball all the way into the right field corner. And once the ball hit off of Budakowski's glove, there was no play. Pescatori was doing the right thing. She came over to back up the play, and ultimately that cost the Knights 2 bases because there was nobody in right field. And Andrew, if I'm not mistaken, that's the first inside the park home run I've ever called. That is not an error. Nothing that could have been done. Good effort by Budakowski. That's home run number 5 for Acosta. And Eileen Balderas fouls that pitch straight back.
Yeah, she takes the team lead in home runs as her and Balderas came in both with 4 home runs apiece. Dolphins really needed that. Big play by Acosta. Just unbelievable.
That's a tough break for the Knights. But the Dolphins now energized in the home dugout. And the score is knotted up at 1. Said it several times already. These two teams have been engaged in several low-scoring games the last couple of years. The Knights have gotten the better of most of those. But CSI, looking ahead toward a potential East Coast Conference playoff berth, isn't thinking about those last few games. There's a swing and a miss by Balderas for strike 2. The Knights are also in a very similar spot. They're 1 game ahead of the Dolphins in the ECC standings. And Queens right now clinging to that last playoff spot. Deauville not postseason eligible. As Balderas takes inside, so 4 of the 5 eligible teams will make the playoffs in softball in the East Coast Conference. Looks like we lost our camera feed for just a moment there, but we're back. Not sure what happened. As Balderas swings and misses for strike 3.
Well, big battle there by Balderas. Good effort as she eventually strikes out. And Dilday, good bounce back in the circle after giving up the inside of the park home run to Acosta. She comes back with a strikeout.
That will bring up Elizabeth Moore. She's 0 for 1. And she takes inside. Queens dugout didn't like that call. Comes the 1-0. That's fouled away. Here comes the 1-1. That's popped up straight to second, where the catch is made for out number 2.
Now batting the left fielder, number 12.
Dilday not really letting that inside the park home run from Acosta. Anissa Acosta gets to her too much. She comes right back with 2 quick outs. And let's see what Alyssa Acosta can do to extend the inning for the Dolphins.
Alyssa's 0 for 1 in this game. Each team with 1 run on 2 hits. Both pitchers have pitched well. Frenza has only given up 1 hard hit ball. Dilday has given up 1 hard hit ball. Frenza's been victimized by walks. Dilday by a bad break in center. Budakowski almost caught that ball.
That was in and out.
Very close. Comes the 0-2. And that's a half swing by Acosta, who strikes out. But not before the Dolphins get even. Inside the park home run by the Dolphins has given them the lead, and that was Anissa Acosta who hit it. As I was taking a look down to my left at the box score, 1 run on 2 hits, no errors for Queens. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for the Dolphins as we head to the 5th.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
Fifth inning from the CSI softball complex. Dolphins and the Knights now even at 1 following an inside-the-park home run by Anissa Acosta.
Yeah, Dolphins get back in this game in a big way.
I'm sure that's not exactly how they envisioned it, but they will take it.
Absolutely. Fired up the crowd here as well.
Well, the crowd's been really into this game. From broadcast to broadcast, it really varies how much the crowd noise comes over our microphones, but I'd suspect you can hear them today. Another 3-ball count here, as Budakowski is ahead 3-0. She was involved in that play in center field, nearly made a great catch, but instead, the ball hitting off her glove allowed the Dolphins to take the lead, or I should say to tie the score. That's chopped to the left side, and Balderas can't handle it.
Balderas had a really tough time there, trouble handling that, as that was a chopper. Tried to barehand it and just kind of slipped out of her hand. And that allows Queens to get a runner on here to lead off the inning.
That's a play the Dolphins need to make, no question.
Very unfortunate.
First error of the game for either team. That bunt is popped up. Moore has it. And getting back to first is Budakowski.
Well, Dolphins do a great job to come right back with that out. Liz Moore puts the speed, gets over into foul territory on that partial pop-up, and gets the first out.
Well, the Knights have been dedicated to small ball in this game. They get a runner on. They look to bunt the runner over. Here they look to steal. And they had the out, but the ball comes out of Balderas' glove.
Yeah, that was a good throw down by Rianne Mayer to second.
That was a perfect throw.
Balderas just could not handle it once again.
We'll get a second look at it after this next pitch. And Grimshaw hits one well, deep to center field, but Carcano has it. Throw hits the cutoff, and that will advance the runner to third.
That was hit deep to the center wall. Carcano had to range back for that, able to make the catch, but Knights able to advance the runner up to third.
And Queens will send a pinch hitter to the plate. Here's a look at that last play over at second. We'll try and slow it down after this first look.
Now pinch hitting for the Knights. Number 16, Danny Roselli.
Tough to see in full speed, though. It's also very tough to slow things down on production truck. Here's a second look. I don't think there's any question they had her if Balderas holds on to the ball. Danny Roselli will be the batter, and she looks at ball one.
Yeah, they were definitely going to have her. Once again, that was a perfect throw from Rianne Mayer from home plate.
Roselli, a .228 hitter, 4 RBIs on the season. Looking for a big 5th RBI in this spot. Alexandra Frenza and the Dolphins hoping to keep this game even. 2 outs, top of the 5th. Here's the 1-1. And that's a knee-high strike.
Well, Frenza just 1 strike away from getting out of this.
Crowd comes alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. And time was called at the plate. Here's the 1-2. That's popped up. Another chance for Acosta. And she stays with it to make the catch. That one almost got away from her, but Acosta hangs on, and the side is retired. The score remains even at 1. Dolphins come to bat in the bottom of the 5th after this break.
Stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Codify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Bottom of the fifth inning from the CSI softball complex. Dolphins and the Knights are tied at 1. Amelia Funston will lead things off for CSI, and she takes a called strike. Now, Andrew, that last play in the previous half inning, a bit tenuous for the Dolphins.
Yeah, Acosta really had to hang on to that one.
Now, I'm not sure if the Knights re-entered the player who pinch hit, and instead they're going to make a change in right field. I thought perhaps they didn't re-enter. We've seen it on occasion where a change for the re-entry is passed along after a pitch or two.
Jillian Cosme.
Jillian Cosme will come in to play right field.
Well, if the Dolphins have a really good chance here to get ahead, as Funston was able to get the first hit of the game for the Dolphins a few innings ago. Deep hit to the wall in center field. Let's see if she can do that again here to get the offense started in their side of the fifth.
Well, Andrew, I think the way these two teams have played one another, a 2-1 final, very likely. We'll see. That's hit well out to left center, and Funston is 2 for 2. She will stop at first, and the Dolphins have a leadoff base runner.
Well, Funston succeeds at the plate yet again as she smacks one, this time into left center gap. This rolls all the way to the wall. Luckily for Queens, that was gotten back in quickly, and Funston has to stay put at first. And here's Knopf to try and keep things going for the Dolphins.
Funston has hit the ball very hard in each of her first 2 at-bats. Natalia Knopf at the plate now. And she looks at a strike. Knopf struck out on 3 pitches her first time up. Comes the 0-1. That's way upstairs. Good job there by Varuso to bring that one down. If that gets by her, Funston's on second base.
Yeah, what a snag. She really had to reach up for that one.
Here's the 1-1. That's popped up on the infield. Wasn't sure who was going to call it, but making that catch was Murphy.
Now batting the right fielder, number 11, Avery Mockery.
Avery Mockery will be the batter. Mockery is 0 for 1. First pitch on its way. That's popped up, foul territory. And the catch is made by Murphy over the fence.
Wow, that's a highlight reel catch as she goes and collides right up against the fence and reaches over it for the second out. Murphy was able to get there for the first out a little bit easier on the infield pop-up. And this time she has to make a incredible play in foul territory by her dugout for the second out, and she does.
Well, Murphy got acquainted with that fence earlier, and the ball got stuck in the top of the fence. Now, to visualize how difficult it is for that to happen, the column on top of the fence and the chain link above it form a very small window for that ball to land. That ball had to land perfectly to get caught in the fence. That's a 1 in a million.
I was just going to say, you might not ever see that again.
I doubt we will ever see that again, as Rianne Mayer is ahead 2-0 here. And she looks at a strike. Mayer 0 for 1 at the plate. And she hits that one well out to left center field. Budakowski onto the warning track. She makes the catch, and the side is retired. Home run bid there by Mayer, not enough. The Dolphins strand one, and we remain tied at one, heading to the sixth.
NCAA Division II Community Engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Sixth inning from the CSI Softball Complex. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Andrew Rotundo. Dolphins and the Knights tied at 1 as that pitch is fouled away by Amanda Baez. She's 0 for 1 at the plate in this game.
Very tight game, Joe. Frenza keeps working in the circle for the Dolphins. I expect Dilday to keep working for Queens as we start the sixth inning here.
I think it's a fair question. How many innings will it take to pick up a win for these two starting pitchers? They've both pitched well. That misses up and away. After that last half inning, the Dolphins now lead in the hits department 3-2. 2 of those 3 hits belonged to Amelia Funston, and she hit the ball very hard on both occasions. Two balls and 1 strike the count on the Knights left fielder. That's fought off foul once again. And the 2-2 is swung on and missed for strike 3.
Great work by Frenza to keep it moving there, keep the composure in the circle for the first out of the inning. Gets another strikeout.
And that's just Frenza's second strikeout. Brianna Call will be the batter. And she takes a strike. Call is 0 for 1. And that's it out to center on a line, and that will fall in front of Carcano for a base hit.
That was hit hard on a line there by Call, who's had trouble this season at the plate for Queens. She comes up in a clutch spot and gets a base hit right into center field for the Knights with just 1 out in the inning.
She just got that off the end of the bat, but still managed to hit it pretty hard. As we're going to have a change here for the Knights, and it's going to be a pinch hitter in this spot.
Now coming in to pitch hit for the Knights, number 24, Alyssa Wilkinson.
Alyssa Wilkinson will be the pinch hitter. She will bat for Christina Varuso. Runner on first is Call. Pitch from Frenza on its way. Call is going on the pitch, and the throw is not in time.
Yeah, and that throw just a bit short
So the bunt was not pulled back by Wilkinson. That goes down as strike one. Pitch from Frenza is up high. The Knights continue to give the Dolphins problems on the bases, but they have not given Frenza problems hitting with runners in scoring position. Frenza has picked up several big outs in this game already, and she's ahead here, 1-2.
Yeah, she's one strike away from picking up another big out.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Pitch on its way. That misses outside. Two balls and 2 strikes the count on the Queens pinch hitter. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Third strikeout for Alexandra Frenza. This one comes in another big spot, and there are now 2 outs in the inning.
Well, third strikeout of the game, her second of the inning, Joe, and it's a big one for the second out of the inning, with a runner still over at second for the Knights.
2 away now. Jillian Cosme swings and misses for strike 1. This is Cosme's first at-bat of the game.
Frenza now up to 100 pitches in this game, Joe.
Cosme with just 11 plate appearances on the season. She's 2 for 11, as Andrew said. Frenza now working over 100 pitches. And she's 1 strike away from making it through 6. Comes the 0-2. That misses high. One ball and 2 strikes the count on the Knights right fielder. Cosme shows bunt, pulls back, swings and misses as Frenza has another strikeout. That is her 4th. We head to the home half of the 6th inning, and we remain tied at 1. Mariah Carcano will lead things off for the Dolphins in the home half of the 6th inning. Score still even at 1. Both starting pitchers still in the game as Carcano sends one out to left. That was right at Baez, and there's quickly 1 away.
Yeah, Baez hardly had to move. 1 pitch, 1 out for the Dolphins here in their side of the 6th. But the Dolphins have a big chance here to get ahead in their side of the 6th at the top of the order, especially with Anissa Acosta here at the plate. As we know, she had her big inside-the-park home run back in her last at-bat.
Acosta with 1 of 3 Dolphin hits. Both teams with 3 hits to this point. Both starters have been very effective. Friends are now over 100 pitches. Dilday about to throw number 75. And that's down and in for ball 2. Acosta in the driver's seat here, ahead 2-0. And that misses low for ball 3.
Great eye here by Acosta to get ahead 3-0. She's in a perfect spot.
that is down for ball 4.
4-pitch walk for Anissa Acosta. Nicely done. As she gets things going, as that'll bring Balderas up with just one away in the inning, and Acosta standing over at first. And a chance here for the Dolphins to get ahead.
That will bring up Eileen Balderas. Balderas is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. First pitch on its way, and that catches the inside corner. Here's the 0-1. That's way upstairs. A 1-1 on its way. And that's fouled back. Count now 1-2 on Balderas. Costa unlikely to run over at first. Does have 4 stolen bases on 4 attempts as Balderas looks at strike 3.
That's a big strikeout there for Dilday with 1 on and 1 out in the inning.
Number 23, Elizabeth Moore.
Two gone in the inning. And Elizabeth Moore takes high. Moore is 0 for 2. And that's hit hard into center field, right at Budakowski, who makes the catch, falling to a knee, and that will retire the side. Dolphins strand 1 on base, and we head to the 7th, still tied at 1. And we are back for the 7th inning. If you hear silence from me for extended periods, the allergies have kicked in and Andrew will take over. But we soldier on as each of these two teams is looking for a huge conference win. And that pitch is fouled away. Count 2-1 on Emma Zumpole. She's 1 for 2, doubled and scored earlier in this game, all the way back in the 3rd inning.
Turning into a dramatic game here, Joe. Just 1 run apiece to start the final inning. And 3 hits apiece as well. Can't get any closer than this.
Frenza is still in, and there is no reason to believe Dilday will be taken out of the game. She's thrown about, I'd say, 30 fewer pitches at this point. In a great position to continue on as Frenza misses with ball 3. That last pitch, number 107 for the Dolphins starter.
Tried to go off speed, trying to fool Zumpel. Instead gets the full count.
That misses high. Zumpel's on with a leadoff walk. And it's back to the top of the lineup for the Knights with Diana Budakowski.
And that's a big walk, as you said. Top of the order coming up with nobody out, and they have a base runner.
Well, Andrew, they're going to bunt. There's no question about it. If she doesn't, I'd be shocked. That's bunted foul, but no Dolphin will get there. Now, I think it's safe to assume they'll try it again, but the bunts have been hit and miss. Perhaps they try and run on the pitch. And that's bunted at and missed. It's very quickly 0-2 on Budakowski.
That was almost like a half bunt.
That was not a good attempt.
Nonetheless.
Do they try it again with 2 strikes? They will not. That's hit hard to short. Balderas can't handle it.
Well, once again, Balderas having some trouble there over at short, handling the chopper in the dirt. And that one gets trapped right along her cleat in the dirt and just couldn't pick it up with the bare hand in time to get a throw off.
Well, I think Balderas was trying to turn a double play. And to double up the leadoff hitter, not easy. And because she tried to rush it, she lost it on the exchange. The Knights will try and bunt again here. At the plate is Sierra Alvarado. She's 1 for 2. She's now ahead in the count, 1-0. Friends' pitch on its way. That's bunted toward third, and Moore wisely lets it roll foul.
Good decision by Moore. As there's still nobody out in the inning, definitely don't want to play that ball.
So the first question is, can the Knights get the bunt down? The second question is, what happens if they don't? Alvarado pulls the bunt back. She's ahead 2-1. With the Knights effectively playing for 1 run in this inning. As that bunt is once again pulled back, you could make the case that the Dolphins are better off here at the bases loaded.
Yeah, with nobody out, sets up a big play for the Dolphins defensively.
The problem is that Ann Grimshaw is on deck. That's the issue with loading the bases. As that misses for ball 4. So the bases are loaded. Grimshaw will be the batter. There are still no outs. And the Dolphins are in a really tough spot.
Yeah, Grimshaw, one of the hotter batters in this lineup coming into today for Queens, and now she's got a big chance to open this scoring up and break the tie here late in this game with bases loaded, nobody out. And let's see what Frenza can do here to get out of this.
Dolphins have the force all around, and the reason I said they might be better off with the bases loaded is that it probably takes the bunt out of play with a force at any base. If you have second and third, the bunt is still definitely in play in that spot. But I don't think you bunt with a force at home. And definitely not with Grimshaw, as the first pitch is a called strike.
Well, that's what you want. First pitch strike if you're Frenza in this situation.
Comes the 0-1. That misses high. Grimshaw on the season has a team-leading 12 RBIs. And the 1-1 misses badly. Another question would be, is there any circumstance in this game where the Dolphins consider a pitching change? That's ball 3.
Well, if they allow a run here, I think they might have to.
I'm not certain they will.
Interesting.
I think no matter what here, you have to throw a strike, even if it's a get-me-over pitch. And that's hit hard. Fair ball down the line. That is just inside the chalk down the left field line, and 3 runs will come in to score as the Knights go in front 4-1. It's a bases clearing 3 RBI double for Ann Grimshaw.
Yeah, and Grimshaw just takes this and rips this down the left field line. Just fair enough for all 3 runners, and deep enough for all 3 runners to get home. And they've blown open here in the top of the 7th. It's now a 4-1 game. Still nobody out.
Well, we did not have a great angle to see where that ball landed, but you could tell by the reaction of the base runners for Queens that that one found its way just inside the line. And that's as tough a spot as you can be in. If you're Frenza behind 3-1, you have to throw a strike. And the most dangerous hitter for Queens at the plate. Really not much else she could have done there. And the error really looming large right now for the Dolphins. If it were not for that error, they would have had an open base to play with. And likely an out in the inning as well. Certainly an out in the inning. Pinch runner at second base for Grimshaw is number 11, Alexandra Power-Scandola. At the plate here is Jenny Murphy. The count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Murphy is now behind 1-2.
Well, strikeout for Frenza here, no doubt, would be big.
That hit for Queens by Grimshaw might be their biggest of the season to this point, especially if they hold on. Looking ahead to the Dolphins' half of the 7th, I believe it's going to be 2-3-4, if I'm not mistaken. That's hit the third. Throw across the diamond in time.
And that's just the first out. They do get the runner, Power-Scandola, up to third with still just 1 out in the inning, and they have a chance to extend this lead even further here. Let's see what Frenz has been in this situation a few times in this game. Let's see if she can limit the damage here.
Well, I was mistaken, Andrew. It was 2-3-4 last inning. It's going to be 5-6-7 next inning. We're going to have another change here for Queens. At least I thought so. Instead, it's a conversation in the on-deck circle. Amanda Baez will be the batter. Runner on third, 1 out. And that's foul ball. Baez is 0 for 2. Big insurance run standing over at third. Fly ball will do the job. Dolphins have the infield in. Huge hole up the middle. And that misses outside. Here comes the 1-1. And that's hit through the left side and into left field for a base hit. In to score is Power-Scandola. And that's going to be all for Alexandra Frenza.
Yeah, and that was ripped right through the left center hole. And that's going to bring home the insurance run standing over at third. And as you said, that'll do it for Frenza. Now a 5-1 lead for Queens, and it looks like Strayer heading into the circle for the Dolphins now.
Frenza well over 100 pitches in this outing, pitched well. But a big error in this inning really hurt the Dolphins. The walks also hurt Frenza in the circle, but overall a great outing for her. She heads to the dugout, trailing 5-1. When we come back, Kelsey Strayer takes over for the Dolphins. One out here in the top half of the 7th inning. The Knights have taken a 5-1 lead and are in search of more. Brianna Call at the plate is behind 0-1. She's 1 for 2 in this game. Kelsey Strayer, the new pitcher for the Dolphins, hoping to get 2 more outs to send this game to the bottom of the 7th. Dolphins will trail by at least 4. And will need what could go down as a season-defining rally to get back in this game. We've seen the Dolphins come back from 8 down already this year. As that's tapped toward the right side, hit slowly, glove flip by Acosta just in time. Nice play by Nisa Acosta.
Yeah, slow roller in the dirt. Acosta waiting for it. Time was dwindling to get that throw down to first, and she's able to make the quick grab by the glove, all in one motion, toss it with the glove to first and get the second out.
Without a doubt, Andrew, the glove flip was her only chance to get an out on that play. Nicely done by Acosta. There are now 2 away. Christina Varuso, who re-entered the game, will get an at-bat in this spot. Already has 2 at-bats in the game. Has drawn 2 walks. Here she's behind 0-1. And she takes outside. So we speculated if there was any situation where the Dolphins might consider a pitching change. They do go to Strayer here. But I think we're very likely to see Miramontes and or Acosta in Game 2 as Strayer misses outside. Two balls and 1 strike the count on the Queens catcher. And Strayer's pitch is popped up. Nobody makes the catch, and it rolls foul. I'm not sure what happened there. Nobody wanted it.
Well, the Queens dugout is arguing that when that came down, it hit either Strayer or Liz Moore's glove. Call is a foul ball.
Here's a second look at it. This is the wrong replay. Oh, no, it's not the wrong replay. That's my mistake. That is the correct replay. Here comes the 2-2. That's ball 3.
Good take by Varuso there. That just missed the zone. She's got a full count here against Strayer.
She's put together good at bats. Already has 2 walks. And here she looks at strike 3. So Strayer gets out of the inning. She strands a runner on, and we head to the home half of the 7th. The Dolphins now trail 5-1. Alyssa Acosta leads off for the Dolphins here in the home 7th. As she swings and misses for strike 1. Acosta is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Allison Dilday looking to go the distance against the Dolphins for the 2nd time this year. She already has a complete game shutout against CSI. The shutout was broken up today on an inside the park home run. And Acosta falls behind 1-2. That's fouled away. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. And Acosta goes down on strikes for the third time today. That will bring up Amelia Funston.
Well, Dolphins down to their final 2 outs now. Dilday with a big strikeout, yet another one for her in this game. And that's just been the way in the circle for her so far.
No Dolphin has gotten better swings today than Amelia Funston. She's 2 for 2. Has singled and doubled against Dilday so far. She's ahead in the count, 1-0 right here. Comes the 1-0. That's high for ball 2.
Good take by Funston, now ahead in the count. And as you said, Joe, 2 for 2 in the game. And if any chance of mounting a comeback, it's got to start here from Funston.
Comes the 2-0. That's inside. Dilday now at 91 pitches. Funston likely taking all the way here. And she looks at a strike. If I had to guess, she's probably taking again here. Here's the 3-1. That's up and away for ball 4.
Funston yet again finds a way to get on for the Dolphins. And if they want to mount a comeback yet again, there's the start of it as Funston gets on with a walk this time.
Third time that Funston has gotten on base in this game. And that brings up Natalia Noth. Noth is 0 for 2. And she takes a knee-high strike. Comes the 0-1. That's in for strike 2. Comes the 0-2. That's fouled away. Out of play. Game 2 expected to begin about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game. Dolphins hope to put that off as long as possible. Comes the 0-2. That misses down and in. After each pitch, Funston has strayed off of first base a bit. Ferruso's given her a couple of looks after receiving the ball. So that's fouled back. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Noth way behind that fastball. And there are 2 gone.
Yeah, big strikeout there is Noth with a good battle. But she swings and misses for the second out, and Dolphins down to their final out of this game, bringing up Mockery. Still with Funston over at first.
Dolphins down to their final out. And Mockery takes a ball. Well, if the Dolphins do not stage a rally here, Game 2 effectively becomes a must-win game. With a win in this game, Queens locks up any tiebreaker over CSI. But the Dolphins are still chasing Mercy, who they have 2 games remaining against. They split the first 2, So the Dolphins could win that tiebreaker, but they need every conference win they can get. Once again, Mockery fouls that back, and the Dolphins are down to their final strike. Dilday up over 100 pitches now. This will be 103 right here. And the 1-2 is fouled away. One and two, the count on Mockery. And once again, she fouls it back.
Well, Dilday still just one strike away from getting this victory. Mockery not letting her have it easy, as that's her third foul ball in a row.
Here comes another 1-2. And the off-speed pitch is swung on and missed for strike three. Complete game victory for Allison Dilday. And the Knights take game one from the Dolphins 5-1 behind a 4-run seventh inning.
Yeah, and Dilday is where it all started for Queens in this victory. Is she had quite an outing here in this game. Full 7 innings she played, only gave up the 1 run on 3 hits. And what a game Queens was able to put on. In the end, they were able to blow it open. A close game for both sides. It was a pitcher's duel up until that final inning of play, and Queens was able to blow it open and take it.
Well, Andrew, I just said it before. Game 2 effectively becomes a must-win game for the Dolphins now, as Queens has moved 2 games ahead of CSI in the win column in the ECC standings. They have also clinched any tiebreaker over CSI should the 2 teams finish with identical records at the end of the regular season. The Dolphins are now 3-12 in conference play. Mercy opened the day 5-7. So the Dolphins trail Mercy in the loss column by 5 games. They cannot afford to go behind by 6 games. The Mavericks play stacked today in the first 2 of 8 remaining conference games for them. So the Dolphins hope to face Mercy on the 29th behind the Mavericks by only 2 conference games. If that is the case, they could potentially move into a tie with Mercy, but still a long way to go before that point. And the Dolphins, not only for the sake of the conference standings, but for the sake of morale, need to try and come away with a win in Game 2. They want to defend their home field, of course, and try and salvage a game against their CUNY rival in the season series.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, rivals, in the CUNY division or in the CUNY conference, and Dolphins want to protect their home field. And Dolphins played a really good game here up until that 7th inning. Really close. Frenza, had a good outing up until the 7th. Queens was able to get a great chance. They got the bases loaded, able to blow it open, but it was pitcher versus pitcher in this one. Dolphins definitely had a chance to take this one. Acosta had an inside-the-park home run, very impressive, but it was Queens, of course, to come out on top when they blew it open in the 7th. 4 runs to take the 5-1 lead.
So Game 2 of this doubleheader expected to begin in about 30 minutes. Until then, this has been Joe Foreman alongside Andrew Rotundo on the call of Game 1. I will be joined by Nick Pavona on color commentary for Game 2. When we come back, Dolphins and Knights, second game of today's ECC doubleheader, right back here on CSI Sportsnet, a proud part of the ECC network. Live from the CSI Softball Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet is back with more NCAA Division II softball coverage. In Game 2 of today's East Coast Conference doubleheader, the College of Staten Island Dolphins take on the Queens College Knights. The Knights picked up a 5-1 victory in Game 1. Once again, this is Joe Foreman on the call, joined on color commentary by my broadcast partner, Nick Bavona. And in the circle for the Dolphins is Anissa Acosta. Her first pitch is in for a strike, and we are underway in Game 2.
You talked about Joe in Game 1 and Grimshaw with the game-winning 3-run bases-clearing double in the top of the 7th inning for the Knights. And now for the Dolphins, as you said at the end of the Game 1, it's really a must-win from here on out.
It certainly seems that way, though mathematically there would still be a chance. Should the Dolphins lose, it is not a good chance. They need to win this game, but those two games against Mercy at the end of the season on April 29th still have the potential to be two big games, even more so if the Dolphins take care of business here in Game 2.
Yeah, they really need a good outing out of Anissa Acosta here. Frenza was doing really good up until that 7th inning. So if Acosta can give them some innings of work in this game, they'll have a really good chance of winning this one.
The issues in Game 1, walks, and a couple of miscues in the field. So that's popped up. Foul.
Acosta on the year is 1-3. This will be her 7th start of the season. She has a 7.72 ERA, in 29 innings pitched, 42 hits allowed, 33 runs, 32 of those earned, 23 walks, 23 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting .328 against her.
1-2, misses up and away.
Also has one complete game. We saw that against Goldie Beacom, one of her best starts of the season. Dolphins would really like another start like that in this one.
There's a half swing by Budakowski, but she went around, and that's strike 3.
Nice opening start for Acosta there. A strikeout to start off this top of the first inning to record the first out.
That would bring Sierra Alvarado to the plate. Trying to pull up those Game 1 numbers right now as Alvarado takes a strike on the inside corner. Alvarado in Game 1, 1 for 2 with an RBI, a couple of walks. And the count is even here at 1. Here's the 1-1. That catches the inside corner for a called strike 2.
Looking for back-to-back strikeouts here to start off this one. Count now 1-2 for Acosta.
The 1-2 on its way. Matt misses down and in.
Trying to get her to chase on that one. Just a little bit inside now to work the count to 2-2.
Here's Acosta's 2-2 pitch. That's fouled back. Comes another 2-2. And that's on the inside corner for strike 3 called.
2 early punch-outs for Acosta here as she throws Alvarado to record the second out.
2 away now in the road first inning, and Ann Grimshaw will be the batter. Nick already mentioned Grimshaw with the go-ahead base hit in the 7th inning of Game 1. She has really hurt the Dolphins this year in the series between these two teams. That 3 RBI double was her only hit in the first game. And the 1-0 is on the inside corner for a strike.
You look at Grimshaw's numbers going into this series. She's been a dangerous hitter for this Knight squad.
There's the 1-1. That misses up and away. Now, keep in mind, in terms of pitching for the Dolphins moving forward, they do have 2 games back here tomorrow. Not sure how much that factors in to the plan in terms of pitching. But they could really use another long outing from their starter. They got that from Frenza in game 1. Compared to years past, the Dolphins have played a lot of games this year. That's hit well out to deep left field down the line. And the catch is made on the run in left field for the final out of the inning. Nice job there by Acosta to make that grab, and the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down for the Knights. No score headed to the home half of the first. And we are back for the home half of the first inning. And for the second consecutive game, the Dolphins will face Knights starter Allison Dilday. Dilday threw over 100 pitches in game 1. She is back in the circle for game 2. That pitch catches the outside corner for a called strike 1 to Mariah Carcano.
Dilday was very impressive in game number 1 with that complete game. We'll see how far she goes here in game number 2.
I'm very surprised that she's starting once again.
That's definitely a first for me, Joe. I don't know about you, but I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher pitch 2 games in a row.
I've seen it, but very rarely. Comes the 0-2, and that's it out to left center. But the catch is made in left field by Baez for the first out.
Good start for Dilday there. That's going to bring up Anissa Acosta, who had the only run for the Dolphins in game number 1 with that inside the park home run.
That inside the park home run broke up Dilday's shutout, tied the score at 1. Dolphins did not score again. And that's hit well out to left center field. That's headed back toward the wall, and it's off the fence. Acosta heads to second, and she is in standing with a 1-out double.
Ball just kept carrying on that one. Acosta was just inches shy of another home run there, and now gives the Dolphins an RBI opportunity here in the bottom of the first inning.
Well, Nick, I don't think there's much of a doubt that the wind cost her a home run right there. The wind began swirling ahead of that pitch, and I think the wind knocked that one down. Though, it seems right now like the wind may be blowing right to left, so I could be wrong.
I think you're right, because you saw Budakowski try to field that one down. It looked like the ball, while in play, moved away from her, and that's why she had confusion of where it was.
It hooked while it was in the air. It looked like that ball was headed for the left center field fence, and then it took a turn toward the center field wall. Very unusual flight path for that ball, as Amelia Funston is ahead 1-0, and she is hit by the pitch.
So Funston gets on, now gives the Dolphins first and second with 1 out. A chance for Elizabeth Moore here.
The third baseman, number 23, Elizabeth Moore.
Moore comes to bat with 2 on, 1 out, and the Dolphins have a chance to strike early in this game. And that's it out to short. And the catch is made on a line. Funston dives back into first. No throw. 1 pitch to Moore, and there are now 2 outs.
Could be up to Eileen Balderas here. Try to get that runner home from second and give CSI an early 1-0 lead.
A rough finish to game one for Balderas. Can put that in the rearview mirror right here with one swing. That misses outside for ball one.
We just talked about Acosta start in that against Goldie Beacom. Balderas has had her hot stretches of points this season. They really could use something out of her here. A couple games ago, we saw her hit a 3-run homer in the bottom of the first inning. They could really use one right now, or at least a single, try to bring home that runner from second.
Balderas had a really nice week last week. That included that 3-run homer that you just mentioned. That pitch misses for ball two.
Now, the good thing for the Dolphins is facing Dilday here in the second game. We've kind of got a scouting report of what she throws in that game one. They're looking to attack here and try to bring home a runner.
I think the encouraging part for the Dolphins, as the 2-1 pitch is hit right back to Dilday. I'll mention what I was about to say when we come back from break, but the Dolphins strand 2 on base, 1 hit in the inning, no score through 1 from the CSI Softball Complex.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the CSI Softball Complex as the first pitch in the second inning is over for a called strike to Catherine Gallagher. Gallagher 4 of 25 on the season, leads off for Queens here in the second. That skips in for ball one.
Dolphins had a chance in the bottom of the first inning to bring home a runner. We're not able to do so there, so looking for another good inning out for Costa here. Try to do something in the bottom of the second inning.
One ball and one strike the count on the Knights catcher. That's fouled back.
Looks like there is some action going on in the Knight bullpen.
Can't see who is throwing. Lewis probably
looks
can.
It looks like it's Diana Budakowski, the center fielder. As Acosta gets another strikeout right there.
Quickly one away here in the second. And Acosta has looked really good early in the circle.
Can't ask much more of a better start from your starter here. Dolphins are hoping that she can go a long ways in this game. Give them a chance to win.
So what I was about to say before we went to break during the last half inning on the topic of Knights relievers is we'll wait another moment as that's hit to second. And the out is recorded as Baez couldn't get in ahead of the throw. So what I was going to say is that I think the advantage for the Dolphins facing Dilday for the second straight game is that a lot of the Dolphins' swing and misses in game one were just being laid on fastballs.
Yeah.
So with time and fatigue, you might be able to get around on that pitch a bit easier. And I think that certainly plays to the advantage of the Dolphins here in game two. How long Dilday will be in remains to be seen.
The monitor and see if Budakowski comes out into the circle in the next half inning.
And that's hit well to deep left field, but Acosta has room and she makes the catch. 1-2-3 inning once again for Anissa Acosta. No score, headed to the home second. And we are back for the bottom half of the second inning. No score between the Dolphins and the Knights. As we mentioned before, there is action in the Queens bullpen, or at the very least, there was action in the bullpen as Budakowski was throwing in between innings. She returns to center field for the bottom half of inning number 2. Alyssa Acosta leads off for the Dolphins and looks at a called strike. Acosta had a tough time against Dilday in game 1. And no tough time right here as that's lined into left center field for a base hit.
And we talked about it, Joe. When you see a pitcher this often, especially now being in game 2, got a nice look at that fastball and was able to drill it right past the shortstop for a leadoff single.
Acosta had a really tough time getting around on that fastball in game 1. Did not have a tough time with that pitch. And she hit that ball hard. That was past the diving Alvarado and into left center. Now Natalia Noth comes to the plate with a runner on. And she takes ball 1. Noth also had a tough go of it in game 1. That was the case for most Dolphins against Dilday. And Noth looks at a strike.
Noth trying to get the runner into scoring position here. Get something into the gap to bring her home. Count being 1-1 now.
Here's Dilday's pitch. That misses outside. I did not look at the upcoming schedule for Queens and whether or not they play tomorrow. The Dolphins do play tomorrow right back here at the CSI Softball Complex. Playing consecutive days at home used to be a lot more common than it is now as Acosta is running and the throw is offline. Stolen base for Alyssa Acosta. And the Dolphins now have a runner in scoring position.
Now giving Noth an opportunity right here to bring home the runner.
Stolen base number 5 in 5 tries for Acosta on the season. And Noth goes up the ladder after that fastball and strikes out.
Once again, a fastball playing dividends for Dilday there to record out number 1.
That will bring Rianne Mayer to the plate. First pitch from Dilday is hit hard into right field. And the catch is made on the run by Cosme. That ball was hit hard.
You saw Acosta, she started running on the play, but Cosme saving an extra base hit and a run right there from being scored for the Dolphins. A loud out number 2 recorded by the Knights.
That's a loud second out. That ball was smoked. Cosme had to move a few steps to her right, but she got there. And it's left to Layla Aponte. And Aponte fouls the first pitch back. Acosta remains in scoring position at second. Now 2 outs in the inning. Still no score between the Dolphins and Knights as we play in the bottom half of the second. And Aponte takes up high. This Aponte's first at-bat of the day. Did not play in Game 1. Comes in 7 of 39 on the season. And Aponte held up. Oh, you've got to be kidding. There is no way she swung at that.
Barely moved the bat.
This is one of the rare occasions where we have a better perspective, being behind home plate versus an umpire on the infield. There is no way she swung. And Aponte strikes out. So Dilday sets down Aponte and strands a runner in scoring position. No score, headed to the third. Third inning from the CSI softball complex as Jillian Cosme leads off, tries to bunt, and sends it foul.
We had a nice lengthy discussion, Joe, about that previous at-bat for Aponte with that check swing that was called for a strike. We're not big fans of that call.
I think what I'll say is they made a mistake on that one. No one's perfect. As Cosme bunts foul, and it's quickly 0-2. Maybe there's something I didn't see, but from where I'm seated, about 10 feet from the batter's box, it looked abundantly clear to me that the bat didn't break home plate. I was just shocked. And Cosme looks at strike 3.
Another punch out for Acosta there. And already a quick first out here in the top of the third inning.
That's 4 strikeouts for Acosta. Brianna Call will be the batter. And she takes outside. There's a swing and a miss for strike 1. Acosta working quickly and efficiently in the circle right now.
That's what the Dolphins are looking for in this game. Acosta has been working really good early on, hoping to keep it going as this game goes along.
Here's the 1-1. That's hit to third. Moore has it. Throw to first in time, and Call is retired for out number 2.
Nice start for Acosta as there's forces a ground ball there. She's now retired the first 8 batters of the game. It's 2 away.
And Mazumpol will be the batter. Number 9 hitter in both games for the Knights. She takes low for ball 1. Queens still looking for their first hit. Dolphins with a couple of base hits. Both teams yet to score. That's in for a called strike. There's the 1-1. And that catches the corner for strike 2.
Kind of see with Acosta right now. Knights having trouble early on with her fastball. They've not been able to touch it, and now it's 1-2.
And the 1-2 misses down low.
Nice waist pitch there, trying to force her to chase. Count now goes to 2-2.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Base is empty. And Acosta's pitch is lined foul.
Half-hearted swing from Zumpole there. Went down the third baseline foul now. It's still 2-2.
Another 2-2 on its way. That's chopped toward first. And Noth has it as she steps on the bag for the third out. Noth and Zumpole collided on that play, but nothing comes of it, and the inning is over. Dolphins come to bat in the bottom half of the third, still no score. Bottom of the third inning from the College of Staten Island. Still no score between the Dolphins and the Knights. Back to the top of the order for CSI with Mariah Carcano. Allison Dilday remains in the circle for Queens. And her first pitch is over for a called strike.
Dolphins in their first 2 innings hitting have had a runner in scoring position but have not been able to bring the runner home. They're going to change things here in the bottom of the third.
Comes the 0-1. That's outside. Knights infield respecting the possibility of a bunt, especially over third. Zumpole playing quite a few steps in. That's sliced foul.
Well, we've seen a lot of swinging bunts from Carcano this year that have gone in front of home plate, and she's been able to reach first. So, definitely does have speed to leg one out.
She's definitely capable of driving the ball to the opposite field. That misses high.
You got to wonder, what is the pitch count for Dilday in this second game after throwing over 100 pitches in game 1?
Count 2-2. That's swung on and missed for strike 3.
Once again, the fastball getting right past the Dolphins. Dilday gets a strikeout there to record out number 1.
Now batting, the pitcher number 34, Anissa Acosta.
That will bring up Anissa Acosta. TJ 1 for 1. Long double her first time up off the center field wall. And she takes ball 1.
Had a really good chance of another home run ball. This one at least going out of the park. But the wind kept it in.
comes the 1-0. That misses outside.
You gotta believe Dilday's gonna try to pitch around maybe Acosta here, not give her anything good to hit. Now with the count going to 2-0.
TJ looks at a strike. Two and one the count. And that's it on the ground to third. Zumpole has it. Throw to first in time, and there are two gone.
Nice start to the inning for the Knights. 2 outs now, and it's going to be up to Funston to try to keep the inning going for CSI.
That will bring up Amelia Funston. Funston still has not been set down by Dilday. She's reached base in all of her bats so far, 3 times in Game 1 and once here in Game 2. And the commentator's jinx strikes again. 1 pitch, and Funston is out. That'll do it for the Dolphins. Never fails. That's right. I was waiting for your comment. That'll do it for the Dolphins in the third. No score heading to the fourth. One pitch, 1 out here in the fourth.
Now batting the shortstop, number 17.
As Anissa Acosta keeps rolling. Diana Budakowski chopped one over to short and was thrown out by Balderas for the inning's first out.
10 up, 10 down so far for Acosta in this game.
Apparently you don't believe that strongly in the commentator's jinx, Nick. As that's
I didn't say anything else. I just said 10 up, 10 down.
Okay.
If I said something else, an infamous 2 words.
You implied it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Sierra Alvarado at the plate. I'm never wrong. Oh, boy, Nick.
We're good.
2 out. As Moore recovers over at third.
Almost an
make that play.
The second baseman, number 37, Ann Grimshaw.
You're right. That was the right time. If there was ever a time for an oh-no, that was it.
Oh, wow.
We're not in oh-wow territory yet. And Grimshaw, the batter. And she looks at ball 1.
Well, if there's certainly someone to get on base for this Knights team, it's Grimshaw.
And that's hit well to left once again. Acosta going back, and she's got it up against the fence. What a grab by the Dolphins left fielder. Nick did his best, but he could not make it a hit for the Knights. No hits for Queens through 4. Dolphins come to bat with no score. Liz Moore will lead things off for the Dolphins here in the home fourth. We're still waiting for our first run of this game. And Moore takes a strike.
Another inning of work for Dilday here. Going to make it 4 shutout innings and send it into the 5th.
Comes the 0-1. That's high. Dilday on the day has to be nearing about 140 pitches. Lou's trying to signal how many more. I'm not sure what the closed fist signifies. Nick could just look at the computer screen. That might be easier. You guys are seated next to each other.
Pitch 37 of this game is coming up, Joe, so over 130 pitches.
It's a 2-1 pitch, and that's a foul ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Moore.
Yeah, I didn't think to look over to your laptop. I had the shades on, so it was obstructing my view.
Not that you can see the screen anyway in the sunlight. And the 2-2 is hit well out to left center. But the catch is made on the run by Baez for out number 1.
That's true. As long as you could see it, that's...
Where's Lou's headset? We didn't plug him in.
We didn't plug him in. Do we have time?
No.
All right. He's shedding a tear.
Eileen Balderas will be the batter. Base is empty, 1 out. And Balderas hits one sharply through the left side for a base hit. And the Dolphins have a 1-out base runner here in the 4th.
Zumpel tried to make a great diving play at third base, but it just went right past her. Balderas with a screeching single into left field. And brings up Alyssa Acosta, who also had a single her last time up.
Dolphins now have 3 hits in this game. That was their hit total in game 1. And Acosta goes up the ladder after that fastball for strike 1. Comes the 0-1. It's a swing and a miss for strike 2.
Moore just getting back at first base.
Oh, 0-2 the count on Acosta. That's fouled back.
She just got a piece on that one. Stay alive in the at-bat.
Another 0-2 upcoming. That's popped up. Foul ground. And it falls out of play.
And again, Zumpel had to make a diving play on that one. She became her jersey's definitely very dirty after this inning.
Well, only you could see that. I'm fairly certain our viewers probably caught it too on the camera angle we have. I cannot see it from where I'm seated. And there's no way I'm standing up, so.
Won't be standing from that nylon throne.
Your eyes are mine right now. As Acosta fights off another one foul. We thought we had finally reached peak spring weather last broadcast. It's a bit cooler today, but not uncomfortable. Maybe Andrew would disagree in the shade over there.
It was a bit chilly in game 1.
Just a bit. As that's hit well, and that's down in center field for a base hit. Acosta's on with her second base hit of the game. And the Dolphins now have 2 on and just 1 out.
Acosta had to reach up for that one. He gets a nice single into center. Now first and second, 1 out. And a chance for Natalia Knopf here.
Here's another look at that last swing by Acosta. She hit that one on the line into straightaway center. And now Noth has a chance with 2 on base as she sends one foul. Noth 0 for 1. Comes the 0-1. And that's it out to right. Cosme is there. And she makes the catch, though. It didn't look easy as that throw skips into second. And the Dolphins have runners on the corners with 2 away.
Ball almost coming out of the glove of Cosme there. You got to keep in mind, Joe, the sun in that direction is going to play it tough for those fly balls. Able to make the play. Dolphins do advance the runner to third. And it gives Rianne Mayer an RBI chance here with 2 away.
Well, there were 2 issues on that play, Nick. The first one was that Cosme almost lost it in the sun. The second is that when the throw came into the infield, it skipped into second on a short hop. And it was the shortstop covering, not the second baseman. Alvarado covered. If that gets by Alvarado, the run scores because there was nobody behind her. Mayer gets ahead 1-0 here. And a big RBI spot.
Just a big line drive into right field.
She hit the ball hard last time up and was a bit unlucky. It's not often you'll make that kind of contact twice and make an out both times. That is, unless you're an avid MLB The Show player.
Those goods.
That's hit hard once again, but right to second base, and Mayer is out to retire the side. Dolphins strand a pair on base, no score heading to the 5th. And we are back from the College of Staten Island. Still no score as we begin the 5th inning. Dolphins had a chance in the last half inning, and now the Knights will get their first hit of the game to open up the 5th. It's a leadoff double for Catherine Gallagher, and Queens now has the go-ahead run in scoring position.
First base runner of this game for the Knights. As it was a nice... As the dust and all the dirt, Joe, comes right towards us. That's a bad one.
That's about as much dirt and dust as we've had over here in this game.
Well,
you can see it in the outfield, unless that's just my glasses. Nope, just my glasses, Nick.
Just your glasses.
I actually thought that there was some haze in the outfield. That was very much my glasses.
What I was going to say is Gallagher drilled that into left field. Acosta trying to make another big play like she did in the previous inning, but was just not able to get it there. And now the Knights have a runner in second with nobody away.
Well, the Knights have hit a couple of balls hard in this game. That was one of them. Pinch runner at second. Queens will look to bunt. They do. And more throws to first in time to get Baez for the out.
We saw a lot of that from Queens in game 1. Small ball trying to advance the runner. They do it right there. And now Jenny Murphy has a runner 90 feet away, trying to bring home the first run of this game.
The Knights have been utilizing the sacrifice bunt all day. They tried a suicide squeeze in game 1. And Murphy takes outside. Want to know the count? And Acosta's pitch is hit well into right field. Whalen's got it on the move. Throw comes home, but that won't be nearly in time. And the Knights take a 1-0 lead.
Sacrifice fly right there. And the Knights get their first run of the game. Jenny Murphy brings home Gallagher. Queens College is up 1-0.
Now, I don't think I've ever seen it happen in a game, and you can't see Whalen on this play, but Nick, in a hypothetical situation.
I was going to ask, do you let that go to potentially?
Yes, I say yes.
Yeah. Okay.
As the side is retired, but in all seriousness, I think if you're certain that ball is going to land foul, if you can think quickly enough, I think you let it go and give Acosta a chance to get out of the inning. I do. Bottom of the order coming up, I think you give her a chance.
Yeah.
But as it stands, the Dolphins trail 1-0. This game is moving quickly. We head to the bottom of the fifth. Dolphins now down to their final 9 outs in this game as the Knights have taken a 1-0 lead. Dolphins still out hitting the Knights 4-1. Layla Aponte leads things off for CSI and looks at a strike.
The one hit being the Gallagher double, advanced on the bunt, and Paris Scandola was the pinch runner for Gallagher. She was the one that scored the run there on the sac fly.
And Aponte's quickly in a 2-strike call, but you and I were talking about it, Nick. Do you let that ball fall if you know it's going to be foul? And I jokingly said yes after the line out. But, of course, you don't know if that's going to be the outcome.
It really depends on where the ball would have fallen on that play, because it was right by the line.
Well, on that play, you couldn't do it. It was way too close. But had it been not as close, there's definitely a decision to be made in that spot.
Lewis telling me that it was going to land fair either way.
Yeah.
So
I think that's without a doubt. But like I said, if there was a chance that ball was going to land foul and you felt good about it, I think it's a chance you take. As Aponte strikes out, and there's one away.
So the problem for the Dolphins in this game, they've been chasing a lot of pitches outside of the zone. Aponte does it there, and there's one away here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Back to the top of the order for CSI. Carcano is 0 for 2. Knights play her in at third base as she fouls back the first pitch.
Dolphins really could use a spark right here, trailing by a run, and you got a dominant pitcher on the mound. And Dilday, who's now had 4 1/3 of shutout baseball so far.
That's one for the mound tally, Nick. That sails high.
I didn't realize it at first.
I wasn't sure you realized it after I just said one for the mound tally.
Didn't realize it at all.
Here comes the 1-1. That's fouled straight back. I'll tell you this. Dilday now pitching with 1 out in the 5th. I'm not sure I've ever seen a pitcher throw 2 complete games back-to-back. I've definitely seen a pitcher start 2 games. And I feel like I may have seen 2 complete games before as Carcano strikes out, but I want to say I did see it once, 2 years ago when the Dolphins played Mercy. I think. I have to go back and check.
Certainly been an impressive performance from Dilday. Now she's 1 out away from 5 shutout innings.
Anissa Acosta, the batter, and she looks at ball 1. Here comes the 1-0. That misses. Acosta ahead 2-0 here. And she takes low for ball 3. And right now it looks like Dilday wants no part of Acosta.
Spoke about it in the last at bat with Acosta. Dilday's just kind of pitching around her, not trying to give her anything good to hit. You see it in this at bat now, behind the count 3-0.
Well, if I did see back-to-back complete games, it was not against Mercy. As Acosta draws the walk with 2 outs. And that will bring up Amelia Funston.
Now batting, the designated player, 0, Amelia Funston.
Funston was finally retired in her last at-bat. First time today she didn't reach base. And she looks at that pitch low. I think it's fair to say no Dolphin has gotten better swings against Dilday today than Funston has. And the Dolphins could really use one right here.
Really could use something, especially into the gap. See what Funston could do here at 1-0.
I was actually wondering ahead of the start of this at-bat, is this the spot where you consider pinch running and then re-entering Acosta? The way Funston has hit the ball, an extra base hit's not out of the question, but then if you do that, you can't pinch run for Acosta again later. Comes the 1-1. That's sent foul, but once again, that ball was hit well.
Funston just needing to straighten it out. Try at least get Acosta to third base on something into the gap. Count now going to 1-2.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Acosta on first with the Dolphins trailing by a run. Funston already has an extra base hit today. Here comes the 1-2. And that's hit well out to left center. And Budakowski makes the catch on the run with a backhanded grab. Good range on display from the Knights center fielder. The Dolphins strand 1, and we head to the 6th with Queens leading 1-0. And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Queens still leading Staten Island 1-0 as we play on in the top half of the 6th inning. Anissa Acosta back to the circle. Trailing by 1 run, she has allowed just 1 hit in this game. That runner was bunted over to third, and a sacrifice fly brought home the game's only run. Brianna called the batter, count even at 1, and she swings and misses for strike 2.
Acosta trying to keep this a 1-run game, give CSI a chance in these next 2 innings to try to take the lead.
Here comes the 1-2. That's chopped foul.
But with the way Dilday is pitching, Joe, it's been really tough to get runs against her. The only run so far they've scored today was that inside the park home run from Acosta. They really need some kind of spark with these last 6 outs potential.
Dolphins will have 4, 5, and 6 due up when they come to the plate in the next half inning. That's popped up. Foul territory, and Aponte can't hold on.
Almost a great catch from Aponte there. Just came out of the glove at the last second.
Good effort by the Dolphins' second baseman. Not enough on that play. And Call is still alive. Here comes another 1-2. That skips in. Andrews feeling it in the shade over there. He moves into the sunlight. The wind is picking up, so I can imagine it's cold without the sun. As that's hit hard and into right center field on the ground for a base hit. It's tracked down by Carcano, and that holds Call to a single. And Nick, it was a very tough play, but that opportunity that was missed in foul territory results in a base hit.
They really needed to record that out. That's something that the issue the Dolphins have had all season, Joe. Recording outs when balls are in foul territory, and it leads to unfortunate circumstances happening after that. You see there, Call gets a nice single into right center field, and the Knights now get a leadoff runner here in the top of the 6th inning.
That was a really tough chance for Aponte. It was in her glove, and it came out on contact with the ground.
Now
Knights.
Go ahead, you can finish your thought there.
Just going to say the Knights get the leadoff batter on. Wanted to make sure our viewers knew Emma Zumpole is the batter.
I was going to say is Budakowski, who was on deck, was once again warming up in the Knight bullpen. But the way Dilday is pitching, you got to believe she's going to want to try to go out there, try to get the full distance and win this game.
Well, I said it earlier. The Dolphins have gotten way better swings on Dilday here in Game 2 than they did in Game 1. And despite that, Dilday is pitching a shutout. She's already allowed more hits than she did in the first game, as once again the Knights looked to bunt on that last pitch. And it's been the same approach every time. Get a runner on first, immediately try and bunt them over. They have complete faith in their pitching. Here comes the 1-2. That misses outside. Throw to second for Mayer, not in time.
Call got a nice jump on that one. Now gives the Knights a runner in scoring position. They had the scenario of the last inning where they had a runner on second. They were able to bunt over, but with a 2-strike count, not going to be able to bunt here.
That was the right pitch to run on. That was an off-speed pitch. And Zumpole takes ball 3.
Just a little bit on the outside. Now the count goes to full at 3-2.
Here's the 3-2. And that's hit through the middle for a base hit. Call's being waved home. The throw is cut off, and the Knights take a 2-run lead.
Nice hit right there for Zumpole. And now a 2-0 game here in the 6th inning.
Now batting, the center fielder, number 12, Diana Budakowski.
I believe, Joe, we're going to have a pitching change. And it looks like it once again it's going to be Kelsey Strayer.
Strayer will come in for the second time today in relief. She will replace Anissa Acosta. Acosta will likely take a spot on the Dolphins' infield. I would guess that will be over at first base. But we will see. The Dolphins would lose Natalia Noth's bat if that is the case. They could move Acosta to second base as well, which would mean Aponte is out.
And that's exactly what they're going to do.
And that is what they're going to do. So Aponte comes out. Acosta over to second base. And Strayer into pitch.
Avery Mockery's. Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Avery Mockery's going into right field.
Mockery to right as well. We go to break. Knights lead the Dolphins 2-0. Diana Budakowski will be the batter for Queens. Still nobody out here in the top of the 6th. And Nick, I think the Dolphins might be expecting a bunt here, just a hunch. As with a 2-run lead, maybe they'll let Budakowski swing. She did not show bunt there.
I would not be shocked if they tried to bunt here. You have the top of the order up for the Knights.
I fully expected them to bunt. But Budakowski is swinging, and she's now behind 0-2.
Well, we saw Strayer come out of relief in game number 1. Once again, out of relief here in game number 2. And she's coming in with the task of trying to keep this a 2-run game.
Comes the 0-2. That misses outside. Comes the 1-2. And that's it out to right center. Carcano giving chase toward the wall, and she makes the catch.
Nice catch and a huge out number 1 for CSI recorded there. She's not able to make the catch, Joe. That could maybe potentially bring that runner home or at least get her to third base.
If Carcano doesn't get there, that is big trouble. That will bring up Sierra Alvarado. Alvarado is 0 for 2, and she takes ball 1.
And once again, looked like Strayer got a strike there. It just looked like it was a little bit on the outside.
Her dugout liked that pitch, that's for sure. That misses outside.
Been a lot of groans from both sides of the dugout when it comes to the strike zone in these 2 games.
Nobody's ever happy.
No one. No.
We're happy to be here.
Of course.
Until the temperature drops. Once we go below 50 degrees, I'm no longer happy to be here. And as something of a meteorologist, I would say we're definitely headed in that direction tonight. And hopefully not tomorrow, but we could be in trouble tomorrow.
We'll certainly have to bundle up, depending on the conditions for those 2 games.
They need to get us a storage garage out here by the bleachers. We can keep this equipment. So that's fouled away.
That would be helpful.
Very much so. Instead, the best we have are left hand and right hand to carry everything back to the baseball press box and then carry it back down tomorrow. We could use the cart, but I don't trust that thing as that's fouled back.
Gotta get your steps in.
That's right. I carried the tables around before you guys got here. The table you're sitting at right now, carried that across. They were all back in their normal places.
Got that dog in you.
Some might say. They used to call me the big dog. This is still my yard, you know.
Well, what do they call you now?
The CFO, obviously. Three balls and 2 strikes the count. That's fouled back again. For those who don't know, the CFO is Chief Foreman Osborne. So the runner left early. and is out at first base. The Dolphins got the choice there, result of the play or an out at first. I don't think that was a tough decision.
Oh, we saw that in Game 1, where the Dolphins were trying to challenge that the runner left early. Did not get the challenge successful in that opportunity. To get it there to record the second out. Now Strayer's a strike away from getting out of the inning.
Now, Nick, I need you to adjust the headphones inputs over there. I'm only hearing you out of one ear.
I am too. And
headphone inputs, Nick, not the microphone. We've lost audio in one ear. Still left ear only?
Yeah.
All right, we'll work on that in between innings.
I might blame Lewis. He slapped the bleacher, and everything since has gone haywire.
We'll take a look in between innings, but I definitely lost you in my right ear.
I hear you in my left and faintly in my right.
I definitely do not hear you in my right ear. So next game, Lewis goes back to the table in the shade. There's a swing and a miss by Ann Grimshaw. There are 2 outs in the inning. Alvarado replaced Zumpole over at first. And that 1-1 pitch is fouled away. And the count goes to 1-2.
Strayer trying to get that strikeout once again. Get out of this inning and keep it a 2-run game.
Here comes the 1-2. And once again, that's fouled back. When the Dolphins come to bat, they will have 6 outs to play with. They hope to keep the deficit right where it is at 2 runs. Comes the 1-2. That misses up and away. Two balls and 2 strikes the count. 2 outs in the inning. And Strayer's pitch is smoked to third. Moore knocks it down. Throw to first in time. And the side is retired. But not before the Knights tack on one more. They now lead CSI 2-0, heading to the home 6th. And we are back from the CSI softball complex. And Nick, I think our audio is restored.
I think so. Now, I will say
I can't hear you at all.
Yeah, I can't hear you in my ear. I just hear you talking, but I don't hear you in my headset at all.
So Lou really did a number on our mixer here.
We're bashing him to the shadow realm.
Hopefully the viewers can hear us, as that's grounded through the left side by Elizabeth Moore for a base hit. Dolphins have a leadoff base runner and their 5th hit of the game.
Now gives CSI the tying run at the plate in Eileen Balderas. So a great chance for CSI here. Could really use a big wave of momentum. That single could do the trick.
Nick, this isn't working. Hit that button that says main mix, the top. It's pressed in. Better?
Now I hear you.
Oh, yeah, I hear you loud and clear now. All right.
Did Lewis hit the thing so hard that the main mix button didn't work?
No.
Okay.
I think Lewis just hit the mixer.
Okay.
Which is why he is banished to the Shadow Realm next game.
Yikes. Well, the viewers didn't hear us, Joe. Now, a single for Moore. Balderas comes up as a tying run. Huge chance for CSI.
They did hear us.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm monitoring our levels, but I could not hear a word you were saying.
Okay.
So there was a high chance I would repeat something you just said. Wanted to make sure that didn't happen again.
Okay.
Never a good look.
No. Just like we had this past week with baseball.
And like Lewis has in real life every day. That's fouled back.
He's floating around in Jellyfish Fields.
You can't keep making that reference. I have to explain it every time you do it.
I like to give you a hard time sometimes.
Well, now's not the time.
Now is not the time.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Balderas. Moore is the runner over at first. And Balderas takes high.
That's what CSI needs to do in these next couple of bats. They have chased the pitches above in the zone. They really cannot afford to do that late in this game. Now the count going to 2-2. Balderas trying to find something here to drive it into the gap.
Here comes the 2-2. And Balderas strikes out.
Balderas under the swing on that one. And another strikeout for Dilday on that fastball to record out number 1.
She hasn't shown any signs of slowing down in this game. If anything, she's gotten better as the game has worn on. It looked like it might be a short outing for Dilday early, but she's gotten better as this game has moved into the late innings. And with 1 out for the Dolphins, Alyssa Acosta will be the batter. And that's hit hard and through the middle for a base hit. And Acosta's had quite the day. She's 3 for 3.
That's our favorite number, Joe.
No question. Now, the Dolphins are hoping to make it their favorite number as well. They need 3 runs to take the lead.
Natalia Noth will try to do something here. First and second, 1 out. Huge chance for the Dolphins.
There's another look at that last swing by Acosta. And she has been right on these pitches from Dilday here in Game 2. Not behind 0-1. The Dolphins now have 6 hits. The tying run now on base. And the 0-1 misses low.
Dolphins trying to fix their miscues they've had the last couple of weeks with runners in scoring position. One swing here could do something.
1 ball and 1 strike, the count on Noth. That's chopped foul. Almost a souvenir for you, Nick.
I was ready. No flinching here.
That's right. No flint. That's the number 1 rule of being seated at this table. No flinching.
When I was at PA, I had to get a couple of foul balls and retrieve them.
Jack of all trades. Public address, ball chaser, commentator. Statistician, one might say.
You could say that, maybe.
Have you done baseball or softball before?
Stats-wise, no.
Really?
Just basketball. And soccer.
Basketball's harder anyway. 2-2 the count. And that's high for ball 3.
Noth at first was thinking about swinging on those last 2 pitches. It's held up and has now worked the count full.
This is a huge pitch for Dilday. A walk would load the bases. And Noth strikes out.
Once again, that fastball working for Dilday there. And that's a big out, number 2. Brianne Mayer has had some good swings in this game, Joe. Has just recorded 2 unfortunate outs. Could really use another big swing here, and this time get a single to try to bring home at least the first run of the game for the Dolphins.
Brianne Mayer, the batter, and she fouls the first pitch away. Now, Mayer smoked one to right field her first time up. I said you can't possibly make that kind of contact twice and make 2 outs. She then proceeded to hit a ball on the ground about as hard as you can to second. That went for an out. If she hits that ball, or a ball, that hard again, you can't imagine she'd go 0 for 3. as that is the softest ball she's hit all day, and it's straight into the glove of Dilday for the final out of the inning. The Dolphins strand 2 on base. They trail by a pair, and when we come back, it will be the 7th inning here at the CSI Softball Complex. And we are back for the 7th inning from the CSI Softball Complex. The Dolphins trail 2-0. Kelsey Strayer in the circle for CSI. Came on in relief of Anissa Acosta, who pitched very well in this game. That pitches in for the first strike of the inning.
Nice off-speed pitch there from Strayer. That is her specialty. They really need her to keep this game 2 runs going into the bottom of the 7th inning.
She throws that one right by Catherine Gallagher for strike 2. Gallagher doubled earlier in the game, leading to the first Queens run. That sails high. Two balls and 2 strikes the count on the Knights catcher. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3.
Strayer has looked really good in these 2 games. Nice strikeout to start off the top of the 7th inning to record the first out.
And that will bring up Amanda Baez. Baez is officially 0 for 1. You can hear the wind over our microphones. There goes our camera case. Second time today that's happened. But when the wind picks up, it gets cold, Nick. Look at Andrew running over to grab the camera case. What a guy. What a guy. He sprinted out of the outer darkness and into the sunlight to try and retrieve the camera case. I think he just wanted to bask in the warmth.
He wanted to feel a part.
He was heading over anyway, he says. Then why did he run back? 'Cause that's popped up. And that's a fair ball, as Mockery lost it for a moment in the corner, but she tracks it down. That's a pop fly single for the Knights, and Amanda Baez is on with 1 out.
It's another unfortunate circumstance there for CSI. Ball falls in fair territory and gives the Knights a 1-out single here at the top of the 7th.
How many times have we seen it this year where a pop-up has somehow gone for a hit or managed to fall? It just seems like a lot of those softly hit pop-ups turn into bad things for the Dolphins.
Yeah, you really hate to see stuff like that happen. But unfortunately for CSI, it has happened this year. You saw on that circumstance, it led to that single. And now if you're Kelsey Strayer, you just need to try to get out of the inning to keep it 2 runs.
That was the 4th hit of the game for Queens. As that swung on and missed by Jenny Murphy for strike 2.
Budakowski once again up in the Knight bullpen. Gotta believe Dilday's going to try to go out there, finish this game. If she were to get into any trouble, it would be Budakowski to come on. So that one goes foul.
Now, would they pull Budakowski straight out of center field to bring her into pitch?
I'm not sure.
Perhaps they send someone else out to play center to start the inning, as that's grounded through the left side for a base hit. And the Knights have 2 on.
Kind of an out-in-front swing from Murphy there, but able to get it through the left side for a base hit.
That was right off the end of the bat. That was more of a defensive swing than anything. As it looks like we're going to have a pinch runner or perhaps a pinch hitter here. We'll see.
And it's going to be a pinch hitter.
Now batting, the pinch hitter, number 16, Danny Roselli.
And Danny Roselli will pinch hit for the second game. Roselli was 0 for 1 in a pinch hit appearance in the first game. Chance here with 2 on. And Roselli looks at a strike.
Strayer really could use an out right here. First and second, 1 away.
Comes the 0-1. That misses up and in. Comes the 1-1. And Roselli hit that one a mile, but she was out in front. We see that a lot against Strayer. You said it. The off-speed pitch is her specialty, and she gets hitters out in front. Strayer ahead of Roselli 1-2, and that misses outside.
Just curious to see if she would go fastball on that pitch. She does, but way on the outside corner. Good job by Mayer to keep it in front. Now let it go to the backstop to advance the runners. Now 2-2.
And Strayer's pitch is on the inside corner for a called strike 3.
Huge punch out right there for Strayer. And now 1 out away from getting out of this jam.
Now batting, the designated player, number 45, Brianna Call.
And Brianna Call will be the batter. Strayer looking to keep this a 2-run game as Call fouls that one back.
Call had a hit here last time up. Looking for another one right here to bring home that runner from second.
Call 1 for 2 in the game. Comes the 0-1. And that's hit hard. And it did not hit the runner. It's into center field for a base hit. The throw to the plate is cut off. They have the runner in a rundown between second and third. And getting tagged out was Murphy. The run does score. And the Dolphins trail 3-0. Heading to the bottom of the 7th. We're going to slow that one down and take a look. As initially I thought that ball may have hit the runner. The infield umpire emphatically signaled no. And we will get one more look at it. We'll stay right here. I'll cue up a replay and see if we can slow it down. Here's a second look. That is a great job to get out of the way. Baez had to jump over the ball. We'll wind it back one more time. Really tough to tell with such a wide shot through the backstop, but the infield umpire was in perfect position to make that call. And the Knights will certainly take it, as they now have 3 runs on 6 hits in the game. And Nick, the Dolphins' season might come down to this half inning.
It really could come down to this last half inning, Joe. It's all or nothing realistic for CSI in this half inning. They're going to need 4 runs against Dilday, who has held them to 1 run in these 2 games. They really need some big swings down the stretch of this game.
Dolphins have just had a really tough time against Queens. Avery Mockery will lead things off for the Dolphins. And Mockery takes high.
Dolphins need to get on base early in this inning. Cannot afford to give Dilday any hope by getting early outs.
And Mockery takes high once again.
Dilday was able to get a huge insurance run at the top of the inning. Now trying to give her team a big sweep here in this doubleheader.
And Mockery looks at a strike. Well, you know Dilday didn't want to walk Mockery, but you have no choice there but to take on 2-0. And the 2-1 is swung on and missed for strike 2.
Once again behind on that fastball.
Dolphins just haven't been able to get around on that pitch all day. And dead ball is the call as Mockery was hit by the pitch.
What a big break for CSI right there, Joe.
Dolphins will certainly take it. And that is a big call as the Dolphins get the leadoff batter on here in the 7th.
And if CSI were to come back, Joe, that could be something to look back onto once this game ends.
I couldn't even tell the ball hit her on the way in.
Didn't look like it.
And Mariah Carcano swings and misses for strike 1. Carcano 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts in this game. Comes to the plate here with a runner on first, nobody out. And that's sliced foul.
Well, if you want to get a rally, you have the top of the order up now for CSI. This is your best chance to do something and make some damage here in this bottom of the 7th inning.
Wouldn't the Dolphins love to bring Anissa Acosta to the plate as the tying run?
Dilday at 89 pitches right now in this second game.
Comes the 0-2. And that's on the outside corner for a called strike 3.
Another big strikeout right there. Looked like another fastball from Dilday. And she just caught Carcano looking on that one. Big out number 1 recorded for the Knights.
Well, that's big because now Anissa Acosta can't tie this game with one swing. That skips in for ball 1. Acosta 1 for 2 in this game with a walk. And the 1-0 misses downstairs for ball 2.
And once again, it looks like Dilday is not trying to give anything for Acosta to hit here. But if she were to walk her, it would bring the tying run up to the plate for the Dolphins.
Dolphins will look to get that tying run to the plate however they can. Here comes the 2-0. And that's chopped through the middle for a base hit. Mockery moves up to second. And Anissa Acosta is on with a 1-out single. The Dolphins will bring the tying run to the plate.
Here's the chance CSI needs. They've had their chances in this game to get some runs. Now this is another big opportunity for them here. Tying run at the plate. Question will be, Joe, will we see a pitching change?
Well, I'll tell you this. If the Knights were going to make a pitching change, which I don't think they will, now would be the time they do it because Funston has gotten good swings against Dilday all day. So if they were going to make a pitching change, which I don't think they will, as I said.
Doesn't look like it.
This would be where they do it.
And you got to believe now also, Joe, you talked about it earlier. Do the Dolphins now pinch run for Acosta at first base to potentially bring home a run if anything were to get into the gap?
And they will, and I speculated on whether or not they would do that earlier in the game, or was that during game 1? I can't even remember.
It was earlier in this game.
It was earlier in this game. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
As we're approaching 4 hours since game 1 got underway, but Sophia Dodonna will be the pinch runner over at first. Mockery is the runner at second. Amelia Funston represents the tying run at the plate. And this has been a really long discussion in the circle for the Knights.
Tracy was just asking for a time limit.
They were taking their time, and the Knights are still huddled there. So Dilday stays in. She will face Funston. Funston is 0 for 2 here in Game 2. Reached base 4 times to start her day and has been retired each of the last 2 times she's come to the plate.
Dolphin faithful looking for something big here from Funston, but 1 away.
The Dolphins are out hitting the Knights 7-6, yet they have not scored. CSI looking for a big hit in this spot, trailing by 3. Here comes the 1-0. And that misses low. And Nick, all of a sudden, Dilday's lost the strike zone.
It looked like it missed on that one, Joe. And this is big because if Funston were to get on, then the Dolphins would have the winning run at the plate. So with a 2-0 count, Funston's got to be taking it all the way here with the way the command has been for Dilday these last couple of pitches.
And the 2-0 is high for ball 3, and that one wasn't close.
Starting to get some high drama here now with a 3-0 count. And a Funston walk would load the bases for CSI.
3-0 the count on Funston. And that misses badly for ball 4. Is that the last pitch Dilday throws?
And now, you got to believe that they're going to pitch run for Funston at first base. Because now something into the gap here for Moore, Joe, could tie the game.
Sabrina Caffel will run for Amelia Funston. Elizabeth Moore will be the batter. An extra base hit could tie the game, and one big swing could win it for the Dolphins.
It's a big scenario because, as you said, one big swing could win it for the Dolphins. Something into the gap could tie it, but for the Knights, a double play could end it for them.
That's a good point. Dolphins have speed on the bases. And Moore looks at a strike.
Moore's had some good swings in this game. They would like to see another one right here to bring home their first run of the game.
Moore is 1 for 3. Eileen Balderas behind her is 1 for 3. And Moore takes high.
No open bases as well for Dilday here. Cannot afford another walk.
This will be pitch number 100 for Dilday. That's popped up. Shallow center.
There it is, Joe.
Infield fly is the call, and there are 2 outs.
And now it is all up to Eileen Balderas. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 3-0 game. Joe, with your season on the line, these are the moments you strive to be in when you're a hitter. You could potentially change the impact of your season with one big swing.
One big swing wins it. A base hit would bring Alyssa Acosta to the plate. She is 3 for 3 in this game, so the Dolphins would love to get her a chance. Dilday hoping things don't get that far, as that is popped up, foul territory, and out of play.
Big sigh of relief right there for CSI. That one goes foul.
Oh, 0-1 the count on Balderas. Here comes the 0-1. And that's swung on and missed. And with that, the Dolphins are down to their final strike.
Balderas chased that one, trying to change the impact of this game with one big swing. Missed it there, and now quickly behind 0-2.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Dilday 1 pitch away from another complete game. The Dolphins hoping to keep this one going. And Balderas takes high.
Balderas cannot afford to chase out another pitch here. Really needs to find something that she could turn on and get it at least into the gap, or at least bring home 1 or maybe 2 runs.
1-2, the count on Balderas. And that's fouled away. Fans of both teams still assembled here at the CSI Softball Complex, where the sun is getting close to setting, and once it does, it is going to get very cold. Shadows creeping in already on the infield as we await another 1-2 pitch. And that is swung on and missed for strike 3. Allison Dilday with her second complete game victory of the day. And the Knights have swept the Dolphins in 2 games. They sweep the season series, and they deal a major blow to the Dolphins' playoff chances.
Dilday throwing the complete game shutout in this game number 2. Did have to work for it in that bottom of the 7th inning. Loaded the bases and got 2 big punch-outs to end the game. An unfortunate loss for CSI to lose both of these games, and now it's really going to be tough. It's going to take a lot for them, Joe, to get into the playoffs.
We'll touch briefly on what it will take for the Dolphins to make it ahead of tomorrow's non-conference matchup at the College of St. Rose, but basically what the Dolphins will need, they will have to tie with Mercy College or perhaps pass them. I think right now, trailing by 4 games in the loss column, a tie would be much more likely, but we will see. As the Dolphins actually, I believe, just moved to 6 games in the loss column behind Mercy, if I'm not mistaken. So the Mavericks have 8 conference games left. 2 of those are against the Dolphins. They would need the Mavericks to lose 4 out of 6 in those other 6 conference games, and then the Dolphins would have to beat them twice. That's what the Dolphins would need to make the playoffs right now. They can't win a tiebreaker against Queens. That happened following Game 1. That was locked up in favor of Queens following the Game 1 victory. But regardless of how you look at it, the Dolphins are in a really tough spot heading into the final weeks of the season, and they're right back at it tomorrow, so they have to find a way to rebound from this mentally, knowing that they're in such a bad spot in terms of conference playoffs positioning, and they need to come out here and play 2 games tomorrow against the College of St. Rose.
They really need to figure it out. I mean, a lot of issues in this game for CSI when it came down to it. They got good pitching overall from their staff, but unfortunately the bats just could not bring home runs when they needed it to be. They had 7 hits in this game, had a chance in that bottom of the 7th inning with the bases loaded. They just were not able to bring home a run. The only run in the game they had was the inside the park home run in game number 1 from Manisa Acosta. They need a big offensive spark tomorrow, Joe, if they're going to have any hope down the stretch of the season.
The Dolphins are back here tomorrow, and so are we. But for today, we are going to sign off here. Our final score in game number 2, Queens College over the College of Staten Island, 3-0. The Knights win both games on the day. They sweep the season series from CSI and deal a major blow to the Dolphins' playoff chances. CSI back in action tomorrow, non-conference play against the College of St. Rose. We will be on the air at approximately 1:45 p.m. with the McDonald's pregame show. Until then, this has been Joe Foreman alongside Nick Bavona from all of us here at the College of Staten Island. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night. Go Knicks and go Rangers.